All right, so here we are back again for becoming holy, the holy wise woman, and disrupting all things perimenopause and menopause, because why not?
Because why not? And we're charter members of the We Do Not Care Club.
We are, yes, yes, and there is a lot we do not care about. And the one thing we are going to talk about today that we really do not care about, rules,
Rules.
rules, rules, and more rules.
Yes, because there are rules for women from the moment you're born until the day you get buried, typically. And we're coming in here to say, says who,
Yep. Yeah, we
basically.
are here to say, well, I think to discuss the rules.
Yeah.
Why are there these rules? And what we think of these rules. I mean,
And we'll
from a
filter it up where
fashion,
it's printable.
yeah, right. I mean, from a style perspective, there's so many. Don't wear this color with that. Don't mix patterns. Don't wear white after Labor Day. Black and navy don't go together. Black and brown don't go together. Brown and navy don't go together. But the reality is, if you like them, why not? I mean, they're
Yeah,
technically neutrals, so they should
absolutely.
be able to go with everything. And it's just all of these things that we get told. Like another one I saw recently was older women should not wear sparkly makeup.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Why
No
not? Like
frosted eyeshadows. Yeah,
I like a little glitter,
I do too.
like
Well, that's me. I'm
and
like us. I'm like the dolly thing. I like things that sparkle.
yeah, and I mean at the end of the day, it really should be about what makes us happy, what makes
Yes.
us feel
Feel
good.
good. Yeah.
Who cares about the age, right? I mean, you see Dolly walking around and she's amazing, you
Yes.
know?
I mean, when she's 77 and she got on a year ago, she got up at the um,
Was
football
it
game in
the
her
Super
Dallas
Bowl or
Cowboy
whatever?
cheerleader's outfit.
Yeah, I know. It was amazing. I was like, "Yay, you go girl."
Yeah.
Like that was awesome. Not only that, but why do we say go girl?
Good question.
That's another one. Like we
Yeah.
don't ever say boy to the guys.
No, that's another thing. We refer to women as girls. Even like we're saying girl to girl, we do that.
Yeah.
Those are my girls, or instead of those are my women. We
Or my
really
ladies. Those are
we
my
don't even
ladies.
realize a lot of times what we're saying, that we diminish
Yeah.
ourselves even in our own vocabulary, and we don't
Yeah.
realize it.
Now, that may not be a rule that has come up. It's just the vernacular that we all kind of talk in.
Yeah,
But why do we talk in that vernacular, right? Like,
yeah.
where did we learn that? Where did we, yes, kiddo? Oh, go ahead. Do what you got to do. Pardon me for that. The
Yes.
life of a mom. Um, so, it's like, why can't we mix and match patterns? I remember as a child, I used to love doing that. I had this little tank top that was, and I think we've probably talked about this before. It was this little white boat neck tank top that had primary stripes going horizontal, but they were like
Mhm.
pinstripes, super thin.
Yes.
And then I had these pastel abstract floral shorts that I loved. And I wore them together with some little jelly sandals that I used to have.
Yes.
And I thought I was the bomb, if I knew what that meant back then.
Yes.
And at some point, someone, my mom, a friend, I don't know who, kind of was like, why are you wearing
Oh,
that? And you take that on
yeah.
and then I stopped. I would wear them separately or I wouldn't wear them at all. And it's just like, why do we do these to ourselves? I used to think I was so great and I would like prance and skip down the street in this outfit and I thought it was so great. And now I don't even really like patterns that much. I catch myself wearing mostly solids with maybe
Mhm.
the odd, sort of like faint pattern in there. And, this stuff, a lot of it comes from childhood.
It does. And you don't
And
even realize why you're making those choices today. It's
no,
because it's been conditioned out of you. Yeah.
yeah. And so I also think of like, you know, um, I like dark clothes. I don't really like bright clothes. But summer's not really for dark, but it's what I'm going to wear because it's what I
Right.
like. It's
Yeah.
how I feel good. So then it sort of got me thinking about your side of the street, right? Because style is very obvious. There's so many different rules and like don't
Right.
mix and match metals. Don't do this, don't do that. But what does that mean for mindset? right? Like,
Yes.
in our world we live in with all these different coaches and stuff, there's words that get flown around or thrown around like, lack.
Yes.
And um that's the only one that comes to mind right now.
What's
I'm sure there's
lack is
others.
scarcity, the poverty
Yeah.
mentality, and different things where you feel like you're not worthy of something because you're not doing it a
But
certain way.
yeah, and so then who decided that, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure you've been in the game long enough, like I have, that, some coaches would turn around and say, well, if you're not willing to get a loan, or you're not willing to sell your car, or you're not willing to get an extra credit card, then you obviously don't want it
Don't
bad
want
enough.
it bad enough.
And the reality is, one, I don't know who they are to say that to me. They don't know my
They don't
life.
know anything
And
about
that's
you. Yeah.
and that's the problem, is we're putting all of these rules and thoughts and whatever else on other people that we don't know their story. And
Right.
my story at the time, a single mom, newly single mom, right? I mean, my child was 6 months old when I left him. By the time I made it into the coaching industry and discovered it, he was maybe 2 or 3. And I had to do everything. I didn't have $5,000 to sink into a coach for whatever reason. Like, I wanted to get out of this. I wanted to feel better. But who were they to tell me, well, go get a credit card,
Yes.
sell your car? Well, I don't live in a town where
You.
transit is the greatest. I mean, it's
Yeah.
decent, but where
Yeah.
I was living,
Right.
buses and trains and that sort of thing. Like, we don't have trains here. We only have buses, and they
Right. We
didn't
don't have good
travel.
mass transportation either at all.
So it's like, who says that I don't want it bad enough? Like, why is that a thing? Because it's almost like you're making me feel bad about wanting to be better.
Yes. Or wanting to do
Or,
things, in a way that doesn't put you in more peril than you're already in.
yeah,
Telling
and
someone to go
then
borrow money from your family, who already probably doesn't support what you're doing.
no,
Don't about that, or go get
right?
a credit card and make your financial situation worse to make it better. And you're like, no.
Yeah, just doesn't make any sense to me. So for me, it's like, let's blow up all these rules. Like, if
Yes.
somebody says they don't have the money, they don't have it. It's not that they are in lack. It's not that they don't want something. It's that you know, they're putting their kids' needs or
Right.
somebody else's needs, like they need that money for food, for clothes, for sports, for something, right? And it's
Right
not that
number.
they don't want to better themselves, it's that they
Right.
are physically not able to. And I think we need to kind of take all of that lack and scarce mentality out of our vernacular, because everybody's situation is different. And maybe there are people who really are looking for free because they don't want to spend the money,
Yeah, maybe there
right?
are.
And that's cool, but do we need to shame them for that? And, like, they're obviously prioritizing other things,
Right.
and that's okay.
It is. And it
I don't
should
think,
be. That's why
yeah,
it's not our job to sell to people all the time. We
no,
invite you. We invite you into our world.
yes,
But it's okay if you can come, and it's okay if you're not ready to come.
yes, yeah. And I think we need to stop shaming people, just like we need to stop shaming women for the size that they're at,
Yeah.
for the, for all of the not enoughness that we
Yes.
kind of get sold on as we
Yes.
get older, or even when we're young, whatever it is that we're doing, in some way we get told that we're not enough, that we're not
Yeah.
worthy, that we're, and all of these things, whether they're rules or not, they need to get shoved out the door.
Yeah.
We need
It's
to.
interesting, like when we're making graphics and stuff, even like when we're in Canva, and I will put in as a prompt, like the one we did last time on the
Yep.
injectables and things like that. And my prompt was, and I did it multiple ways:
Okay.
middle-aged woman getting cosmetic surgery or med spa. If I tell you there was maybe one or two women that were our age, they were these women had to have been in their 20s and 30s with getting needles all stuck in
Yeah.
their face. And there's not a 20-year-old on the planet that needs Botox.
No.
So
Right.
even they're starting so early now, already telling you you're not enough. They don't even let you get through your 20s or the first half of your 30s, and they're telling you you're not enough. You're already looking old when nobody looks old in their 20s and 30s typically. And you may think you do, but I'm telling you, you're going to get to 40s and 50s and realize you did not look old. at all.
No, well, I think I mentioned that last week in one of our things where my mom was always thinking how big she was, and so she was covering up in ways. And then when she found out that I currently am the weight that she was whenever this was going on, like maybe in her
Right.
40s, so what would that be, 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Um, wow, you don't, you look good. I
Good.
must have looked good and just not thought that I did, right? And it's that we're telling ourselves all the time, that we look horrible, or we're comparing ourselves to other
Yeah.
people, when really I think we just need to, well, especially now for you and I, when we're going through the change, right?
Yeah.
That our bodies are acting differently. They are resetting
They
themselves, let's
are.
say. They are
They're,
up
yes, they're
leveling
being
to,
rewired. I think that's the word I heard one of the ladies use in a
yeah,
when she was talking about from a medical point of view. Your whole brain is being rewired to be different. It's
yes.
preserving your wisdom and saying these other things are less important, which may be your physical attributes, or it may be your desire to have sex. Maybe that's one reason it drops down. You just don't care as much anymore.
Well, because, and it's not even that you don't care, it's that it doesn't serve the same purpose as it
Yes.
did in its 20s and 30s, right? Like in
Yeah.
your 20s and 30s, you're wanting it biologically to procreate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas now we want it because we want to enjoy it,
Right.
right? Like there's not that procreation behind it, right? We're just doing it because we are all sexual beings and we just want to enjoy
We
it.
just
We
want to
just want to
have
have a good
fun.
time,
Yeah, we want,
right?
yeah. Because again, women have twice the nerve endings in their genitalia that men do. Our
Yep.
bodies are wired for pleasure, but that's something else that's been conditioned out of us. If you're sexual, then that makes you a slut. It makes you a whore. It makes you all these things that you're not supposed to be. It makes you the, what's the word they use? Run through, which is a phrase that grinds my gears to no
Oh, I don't think
end.
I've heard that
Yeah,
one.
you hear a lot of men saying it, that she's been run through, which means her body
Oh,
count is high, and it's such a derogatory term,
that's
but
awful.
only for women. Only
I
for
thought horror was
women.
bad enough. That's worse.
It is. It is. It's like they find all kinds of ways to make it worse. But, it's like it's that say we're never. It's like you can't win. It's like if we don't start making our own rules, we're never going to win because the game is rigged
Yep.
against us. I
Yep.
was just looking it up for like the diet industry. You can't win with the diet industry. One, because most
Oh.
of the stuff doesn't work anyway. It's not sustainable. The diet
Well,
industry
it's
in
meant to be stayed on, right? Like
yes,
you
you
can't have it
cannot
for
get
a
off
little
of it.
while
If it
and
even
then
works at all. How much of this stuff is being
yeah.
sold? It doesn't even do anything, but they've made you think with their great marketing that it does.
Yeah.
2022, the diet industry, $260 billion
Oh my
dollars.
God. Yeah.
By 2032, it's going to be double that, $532 billion, and most of that is aimed at women.
And that is one rule that we need to add into our we do not
Not
care
care.
is you know, like I don't care to be model thin. Like, I mean, the last time I was probably model thin was really before I hit puberty. Because I hit puberty late. I was a bit of a late bloomer. I don't think I got my period or developed until I was somewhere between the ages of 14 and 16, I think, or somewhere in there. And that was probably the last time I ever really would have been considered model thin because I was a size zero,
Right.
right? And I probably stayed that size until I was up into my, like, a size 2 to size maybe 6, or size 0 to 6, until I sort of graduated high school. So I would have been 17 or 18. And then after that, it was like, I got boobs, I got
You
hips,
turned
I
into
got
a
all this
woman.
stuff,
Yes, you
right? And
turned
it's
into
like,
a woman that has curves. Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, I liked the curves. Did I like the extra rolls that came with it? No, but even those didn't really start until I was maybe in my 30s.
Yeah.
And I think being a woman means we have curves. If
It
we
does.
are twiggy thin, which, what
Yeah,
was that
that's
back in the
okay.
60s?
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of hard to say you're a woman.
Kind of,
I think
unless that's your
personally.
natural body style. Some women are
Yes.
naturally, they're just very, very thin. They can't, even if they wanted to put on weight, they can't. And there's some
More
women,
power to
sometimes
them.
we look at a donut and we gain 10 pounds by
Yeah, right?
osmosis.
And I think and I think that's just something that we need to start acknowledging. Now, if you're in your 20s and 30s, it's going to be a very different conversation than
Right.
what we're having right now, because from 40 above is when you're going to potentially start hitting that perimenopausal stage, and then the
Yes.
menopausal stage, and then the postmenopausal stage, where the body is, as you say, rewiring for very different things. But I think while I hated the rules back then, and I don't think women should have any rules, to be honest, I really think now is when we need to start saying, fuck the rules, right?
Yes.
Because who we are now is very, very different than who
Yes.
we were back then,
Right.
you know? And would I trade now for then? I don't think so. I
No.
kind of love my whole fuck bucket being really dang small,
Yes.
you know?
Absolutely.
And saying, screw the rules, right? Like, as I think I said last week, my human design is meant to experiment. Well, to experiment, sometimes that means you've got to throw the rules out the window, you
Yes.
know? And maybe if you like rules, then you just are going to make it work for
Well,
you.
make them
But
work for you. Make sure they're your rules that
yeah,
serve you and not someone else's rules that you're still trying to adhere to. That's what we're
what do
saying.
they say?
Mhm.
Take what works, forget the
Yeah.
rest kind of thing.
Yes.
And while I was a teenager and in school, I was a bit of a goody goody. And there were certain rules that I liked and certain rules that I didn't. And I was very vocal about the ones that I didn't like and it wasn't even so much that I didn't like them. I just wanted to question them,
Yes.
and my thoughts have always been, even now, I will question you until I'm blue in the face. And if you can give me a valid reason as to why a specific
Right.
thing is like works or is in place or what, cool, I will do it. Then I will stop being a pain in the ass and I will do it. But if you can't give me a valid reason for why that's a rule, like white after Labor Day, I'm just going to basically toss it out the
Yeah.
window and say
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
And I think the whole white after Labor Day was like old money versus new money kind of thing way back when. Now it doesn't make sense. So why do people even bother adhering to it? Like, do you know why that was a rule that
Well,
came
yeah,
into
see, it's
place?
okay. Whatever your belief system is, know why you believe it. Because sometimes
Yes.
if you start digging, you'll realize it was never yours to begin with. It's just something you adopted or absorbed, or it just came with the territory. It's actually amazing how many things that you think you believe and you don't really know why you believe them.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and as we were talking earlier before we kind of hit record on this, right? Like, I might be in my 50s, but I sure as hell don't feel like I am until the body
Yeah.
kind of gives me grief, lower back, you
Yeah.
wake up and you're a little like, oh, how did
Yeah,
I
something
sleep
hurt.
last night, right? But I don't feel 50. Like, my 50 is not my mother's 50, is not my grandmother's 50, and I think it was you that somebody sent me a picture of um, someone who was a couple of years older than Alice B on the
Oh,
Brady
who was
Bunch.
that? It was Alice and it was me.
But I can't remember who she was, who the side by side was. But it was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
And I mean, even another example would be the Golden Girls.
Yes.
All of them were in their 40s. But
Especially even yeah, they I mean, and it's funny. Some people have taken AI and they like changed their hair and it makes them look 15, 20 years younger. But
yeah,
somebody said women over 40 have to have short hair.
yes, you know what? And my mother's one of them who thinks that shorter
Yeah,
hair looks better on older women. But then again, it's like, but says who?
says who? And yeah, you may look great in short hair. And if you love short hair, Jamie Lee Curtis looks fabulous
Oh
with
my
her
God,
short
I can't
hair.
even fathom. Well, when I see older movies, like clips from like her first Halloween movie, which I've
Yes.
never watched it because I'm not a big horror fan, but she's got long hair and it's just like, I don't think it suited her. Like, yes, she was young, and so of course she was the femme fatale, and
Yeah.
usually they do have that long silky hair or whatever, but I honestly think she looks 1,000 times better with shorter hair.
Yes. She
More
looks amazing.
elegant, more refined, classy. Like, yeah, she is a woman. And Halle Berry's another one
Oh
that,
my
that goes
goodness.
back and forth
Yes.
between the two, but I really think she looks great with short hair.
She does. She's beautiful. I was trying to see if I could find that things now. It's going to bug me on who that other person was.
We may have to post it in the
I
comments
know.
just so
I know.
people
We'll
can
have to
see
come
it
back and put
later.
that in there because it was so striking. And I think Alice was a lot younger than the other person, the other
It was
boy?
only by like 5 or 6 years. It was not a whole, it was not a huge age gap, but it was just when you look at the two side by side, it was like, whoa,
Yeah,
so we are not, I like us Gen Xers, I feel we're aging like fine wine.
we are.
Like we're getting better as we get older. And
Yes,
so with that, why are we following the rules that were set for our parents or like set hundreds of years
right.
before us, decades before us? Like, I just feel there is no way I will ever dress my age, whatever the
Whatever
fuck
the
that
next
means. And that
person
is
mean,
another rule
yeah.
that needs to go. Like, dress however you feel good, you know, whatever mindset works for you, and if you don't know, that's where we come in,
That's where we
you
come
know.
in.
And going back to that whole lack thing, that's one of the reasons why we've sort of created a membership that is, when we talk about it, it might seem like it's way too good to be true. But at the end of the day, I personally, and I know Dawn feels similarly to this, we want all women to feel good, look
Yes.
good, act good, and not act good in like the
Yes, and it's
prissy
like
prissy way, but it's
if
like,
you've
a
got
way
your
that,
yeah, if you've got your own voice and your own identity that you picked out for yourself, and especially after you age 40, it's like you don't have to dress for anybody else anymore. You get to rediscover who you want to be. And if that's mixing and matching and wearing one of everything that's in your closet and you feel fabulous,
yep.
then that's what you get to do is like, find your identity. Who are you? Remember who you are. You have amnesia. That's really what it amounts to. It's been conditioned
Yeah,
out of you to have an individual identity.
and it's not about changing who you
No,
are. It's about refining,
yes,
rediscovering, returning to who you
returning.
probably
Let's say
always should have been
you,
or felt like you were, but life, family,
yeah,
expectations, all those things sort of like stomped on it or told you stories that never really resonated, but you went along
but
with
you went
because
along with
everybody
it
else
anyway.
was or
And
whatever.
well, you
So
want to
it's
fit in, especially when you're a young girl and a teenager.
yes.
You want to fit in. You don't want the other mean girls making fun of you. It's one thing when the boys do it, but it's a whole different thing and of hurt when the girls start picking on you because of what you're
Oh,
wearing or
and
not wearing.
I never thought I was a mean girl, but I think back on some of the stuff that we used to talk about and how we used to like, this is really awful to say, but I went to a high school, so 11, like a senior high school, 11 and 12, where, you've kind of sort of hit that peak of like, you think you know who you are, or you kind of like figure out where you fit in. And you're probably not with the jocks, or you're over with like well,
Yeah,
we used to call them headbangers back in the time, right? The
yeah,
rock and rollers, the down and
yeah,
outers that used to hang out in the pit where they smoked and stuff, right? And I never really fit into any of them. I sort of floated amongst groups, but I had my core group of three girls. There was four of us. And oh my goodness, if anybody was different, oh, the things we used to say. There was a couple of guys, one we thought was just off the wall and like, oh, creepy. So we used to call him the heebie-jeebie. And like, because he just was, and I look back now on that and I think, oh my God, we were awful,
yeah.
and I
Teenagers are
don't,
vicious. We all were.
oh,
Even the ones who think they were super duper nice to everybody, chances are you probably weren't.
no,
You just had that, yeah, you've got it in your head that you're a nice person, so you would never do that. But go back and think about because everybody has somebody they don't like in high school or junior high. So there's
yeah.
somebody, and chances are you probably said something about them. Yeah.
Oh, we used to call another one the creepy crawly. And like, and then the ones that we did like, but maybe we didn't know their names, or like when you're talking about the guys that you sort of like
Right.
crushing on or whatever, we then we reduced them to a body part.
Yes.
Like, oh, the one with the butt,
Yes.
oh, the one with the nice eyes, oh, the one with the good smile, like, you know and I'm sure that's not something that we're necessarily ever going to change, right? I mean,
Right.
kids are kids, they're going to do what they're going to
Yeah.
do. I hope that I instill something a little bit better into
Yeah.
my child as he grows up, but all of that to say that affected us in some way, that now we have all these rules and these thoughts about what we should do, shouldn't do. And Dawn and I want to break those down. We want you to rediscover or return to who you really were
Really
meant
are.
to be
Yes.
and who you are, and live in that life as authentically as you can. And
Right.
this is where the fuck budgets come in. Everyone else be damned.
Yes.
Right? It's something that you like, that you love, that you want to do, you want to wear, you want to be. That is our whole thing. And Dawn and I are discovering as we age that the fuck budget gets a little bit smaller and smaller as the years go on, and we
And the
are
more you're
doing.
exposed to other women who think like that, when you realize that there's
Yes.
a whole group of women who internally feel that way, but they've been too afraid to say anything because they don't want to be the odd guy out in their group, maybe.
Yeah.
And so the more we talk about it, the more we're going to find there's a lot more of us. We know there
Totally.
are. And we
Yes.
don't have to wait till we're 80, like these beautiful women on Advanced Style and the glorious broads do. We don't have to
Yes. And I was
wait till
actually going to
then
say,
to
for
start
anybody.
doing that. We can start now.
Yes. And I was actually going to say, like, for anybody who wants to see what we kind of are talking about, and sort of what prompted us to move into this space and give voice to women, go check out at Advanced Style on Instagram or
Yeah.
TikTok. These women are amazing.
Oh,
And
they're amazing.
I would say that they're mostly 70s,
They're
80s,
older, yeah, considerably
maybe
older,
some
yeah.
60s, but I think they're definitely
Oh,
on the
more in that
older
range,
side.
yeah.
And yes, some of them I think do come from money, which some people would say, oh, well, of course they can dress like that. They've got all this, money or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, it's less about what they wear, though I do think
Right.
it's amazing.
Yes.
I think it's the mindset that they have
Yeah.
come to. And one was saying how when she got married, she thought her husband was going to give her the happiness that she needed.
Yes.
And it has taken her until now,
Yes.
and I do believe she said she was 90
Yeah.
to realize that she has to be her happiness.
Yes.
And so I think
That's
that's
what we're
what I'm
saying. It
hoping.
comes from within. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I think I'm hoping, that between you and I, we can show women that it can come a lot sooner,
Yes.
that you don't have to rely on other people, that whatever rules you feel are holding you back, you can kind of cut them all up and say, no, that doesn't make me happy, but this
This
does. And
does.
whether that's wearing a ton of patterns, wearing everything in your closet, as Dawn just said, or even just um, not feeling guilty about taking time for yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because I think as mothers, now I had Quinn a lot later in life than a lot of people. Um, but when you're in your 20s and 30s and you're a mom, you tend to put everybody else first. And, heaven forbid you ever do anything for yourself. And I've caught myself with that. I'll go shopping. I want to buy a new top, or I want to buy some shoes. And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, me.
Yeah, I don't really
Ooh,
need
that's cute
that.
for Quinn. And then I
Yeah.
go over there and I buy something for him instead, right? So I think that now is the time where we need to drop that guilt
Yes.
and any, I don't even know if they're rules, but let's call them rules because that's what this episode is about.
Yeah.
Any rules that you have taken on or feel about doing for yourself.
Yeah.
Because we can't fill from an empty cup, which I know is a super cliche and some people may
Yes.
never have
But it
heard it,
is
but it's in the
so
coaching
true.
industry.
It's like your
You
car doesn't
know,
run without gasoline or petrol. It
yeah,
doesn't run. You have to put fuel in your car and
yep,
you have to take care of yourself because you will run out of
yes,
energy and space for everyone else. And then when you start stumbling, you're going to take the people you're trying to take care of with you just because they're there. The more you
yeah.
take care
And
of
I
yourself, the
think,
more you can take care of them.
and I think that, and I have to wonder, and maybe in that book that I'm reading, eventually I will get around to it. And it's called The Upgrade for anybody who cares. It's a female doctor who specializes in the male and the female brain, specifically the female brain, but she did write a book about the male brain. And she talks about this rewiring. And so I do sort of wonder if what she calls the upgrade going through perimenopause and menopause is this whole idea about now learning to fill your cup first, right? Like, we
Yes.
have done our parenting, we have sent the kids on their way, we've looked after everybody else, and now we're looking after ourselves.
Yes.
But I would actually like, yes, we are speaking to primarily perimenopausal and menopausal women, but I do hope that some women in their 20s and 30s find us
Yes.
and then start to take that on
Yes.
earlier,
Oh my
right?
goodness. If
You
you
know,
can
that
learn these
they,
things in early 2030s, oh my goodness, your life would be so more vibrant. I'm not gonna
yeah.
say, it may be better, it'll be different, but you'll be amazed if you're walking through life owning who you are and liking who you are, it'll change everything.
Hmm. Could you imagine if we had learned this in our 20s, where we'd
Oh,
be right now? And I can't even imagine I almost can't even fathom what this rewiring would
well,
look
just think of all
like.
the decisions you might have made slightly differently. Maybe you would have ended up in mostly the same place, but if you really are so comfortable with who you are and you know how valuable you are, know how much wisdom you carry around, every choice you make would be slightly different at the
Yep.
least. Like who you pick for friends, who you pick to date, which is the bigger one, how you
Yeah.
allow your family to treat you or talk to you. If you really know who you are and you are so comfortable in your own skin, it's like I said before, it's like if you don't hear the cheers, you won't hear the boos. It's just irrelevant to your existence what their opinion of you
Yeah.
is because you're
Yeah.
so sure of who you are. And oh, if you could learn that in your 20s, it would change your life.
I think ideally, what I would love for this channel and our school membership and all of that stuff to do, and like even, when we start getting into like one-on-ones with people who want to, dive deeper into this, I would love for the younger generation to discover us and come
Yes,
along the ride with us and you know, listen to the wisdom that we have
yes,
so that they can make those decisions sooner, they can make that shift sooner, they can move away from this comparisonitis, that we all
yes,
call it, right? Like seeing the Instagram influencers and getting down on themselves for not being
yes,
X, Y, or Z, and realizing that we have this control and we have been sold these stories that
yes.
aren't ours.
Right.
They
Yeah.
are societies, they are our families, they are all of these things. And because it wasn't until my 40s that I realized a lot of what I grew up with was kind of bullying,
Yeah, it is.
and it's not mine. And because how sometimes they say you can never go back home again?
Yes.
That's a weird saying, and I've never really understood it, but I do now. And for me, the not going back home means I'm not reverting to my teenage self when I'm with my
Yes,
parents.
because how many women do that? Or in men too. You go home for the holidays and you could have done a decade's worth of personal development work and you might feel like you were on your A game. And the minute you walk in that house,
Yeah.
your mom looks at what you're wearing and you know when she's looking at what you're wearing or your hair color or
Yeah.
whatever, or how much weight you may have put on, you revert back to that child that was right there when they started doing it when you were a kid.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know?
So yeah, and and I would like that realization so that you could go home a little more empowered or into whatever
Yes.
situation. Like for me, it was just
Right.
home. So let's say whatever situation you find yourself
Right.
in like that, a little more empowered to know that it's their stories,
Yes.
not yours.
Right.
That you're fine the way you are. And while
Yes.
you may find yourself reverting back to whatever, know that it's just more their stories that are being put on you
Right.
than you
And we
necessarily
take
being
on a
like
lot of
that.
people's stories. We take on our partner stories. We take on our parents' stories. I mean, sometimes even we take on our friends' stories, depending on who you're hanging out with on
Yep.
a extended time.
Yeah. So my goal is to break whatever style rules you want because I'm currently breaking them myself.
Yes.
Um, you probably can't tell this, but I have no makeup on today. I just put on a
You
little bit of
can't tell.
lipstick
No,
because I just decided it's Sunday and I didn't want to.
that's perfect.
Like, but a couple of months ago, a couple of years ago, this would never have
Never have
happened.
happened.
I
Yeah.
had to look great. I had to look all put together. Heaven forbid I come online and take a photo without any makeup. It's like,
Yes.
oh my God, I would have died of embarrassment. Hitting 50 is like, yeah, so what?
So what? Yeah, there's a video that I saw the other day. It says every day you should lean into something you think is cringe. because it's those
Ooh, I
things
like
that you
that.
find cringy that are holding you back. Because why do you find it cringy? It's like, why is that? Like, that could be
Yeah.
showing up without makeup, or going to the grocery store and you're just frumpy as clothes, that kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like, lean into the cringe, and then figure out why you feel like that, because you may find whatever you were afraid of didn't happen. People
Yeah.
looking at you funny, saying something. So,
I'm
just
gonna have to
lean
try
into it.
that because the one thing I will never do, I do it around my complex just because like the garbage is across the parking lot and so
Yeah.
I might go out in my pajamas, but I would never go out in public in my pajamas.
Yeah. And it's like, even if you just do it for, sometimes I'd like people to do things
Yeah.
for experiments. Just, even if you never
Yeah.
do it again, do something one time that is so outside of what you would normally do, and just see what happens. Because you may
I'm
find
going
out
to do that. I'm going to challenge
nothing.
myself in the next couple of weeks to do that and I will come back on here and I will let you know
That would
how it
be
goes
awesome.
because yeah, um I would never, ever consider being seen in my pajamas. I wear them all the time at home. I
Yeah.
wear them out around the complex just if I'm going to the mailbox or go to dump the garbage. But most people I know aren't looking out their windows, so that's why I'll do it. Um, but yeah, I would never do that in public. That's
No,
just
I wouldn't
not.
either. My grandma, I like, I always hear my grandmother's voice, because she would, when we were little, she wouldn't even take us. Like, we used to go to the plant nursery when we would stay with her during the summer. And if we weren't dressed, we didn't get to leave the house.
Oh, wow.
And that could
Yeah.
be you not even being in your everyday shorts, like kid playing in the dirt kind of thing. No, you had to go out looking presentable. And I still hear her voice in my head. It's like, I see people, it's the people walking around with their house shoes on for me.
Y-
And it's like, they're just shoes. Again, how is that different than a flip-flop? It's
Yeah.
not. But in my mind, it is a completely, one is an inside shoe and one is an outside shoe. It's a shoe.
Uh, yeah.
Shoe. So I've had
See,
to,
and these are the, and that's not so much a rule, but just maybe as the whole like the stuff that we grow up with,
it's conditioning. That's
shifting
all it
what is
is. Yeah.
ours versus what we were told,
Yeah.
right? And you know, you might get to a point, and this is what you might end up doing with clients and stuff, right? Is you're still going to hear your grandmother, but you're going to be
Yes.
like, yeah, I see you, I hear you, but that's not my story,
But it's not. And yeah, this is a different
you
time. These
know?
are different people. And the rule that you followed, Granny, there's no logical basis for it. It was just something somebody made up, which is the same thing we've seen about all of these rules. It's just something somebody somewhere made up and said it long enough and loud enough that we accepted it.
Well, and the reality is that especially when it comes to things like fashion and the diet industry and the beauty industry, which I guess you could lump under fashion, I
Yeah,
like to
they're
think of
all,
them separately,
part and
but
parcel. Yeah.
um, they do it to sell. They do it to
They
make money.
do.
They do it so that we will spend money on these things, whether we like them or not. And that's why I would like to break those rules for myself and others because I don't know about the diet industry, but I know the fashion industry specifically is extremely wasteful.
Very.
You know, it can be very harmful or is very harmful to the environment. So part of the reason I would like to break those rules is not only so that women can feel better about themselves and um, be authentic in how they dress, not because someone has told them to dress this way or that, you know, you have to have X, Y, or Z,
Right.
but also so that we can be more ethical,
Yes.
more conscious, you know, so that we don't necessarily have, and I'm looking at my closet when I say this, a closet full of clothes that we may or may not like or
Yeah.
love,
Yes.
um, because we went out and it was the latest trend or whatever, but so that we have a closet of stuff that we absolutely adore and love. And maybe we thrifted it,
Yes.
right? Maybe we didn't go and buy it brand new. Maybe we didn't go to Shein or Temu or
Right.
this new Asian one that I see online called Taobao, right? Like we buy it because we love it. We buy it because it
And
speaks to us. We wear it because it makes us feel amazing and not because somebody told us that,
well, and
you
that's
know,
the whole
after
thing.
50, we should be wearing this.
I work with people like that in not in just their personal life, but in your home. You really shouldn't have anything in your home that you don't love.
No, I
It
know.
can be
Yes, I've been.
functional and you still love it. Like, maybe you would like a nicer sofa, but you love the one you have. It's like, and you do that with everything. I even tell, when I start working with people, I'll have them go into their closet, and I said, I want you to separate your clothes into, because I did this for myself years ago, separate your clothes into, these are the clothes that I that I wear every day. And there are big things you will find there's probably 10 things you wear over and over and
Yeah.
over. And on the other half, I want you to separate it into the things you love. Like if you could fit into it, if you know, whatever reason, if
Yeah.
you had a hot date, if you're, you know, you worked at a certain place, separate your clothes into those things, the little tiny bit that you wear over and over, and then the things you love, and then whatever's left over, get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your comfort clothes you're going to want to keep because that takes a while to break free of wearing leggings every day since COVID.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole, I know how you feel
Yeah.
about leggings. Like,
Yeah.
we don't like the leggings.
I do have some, but I wear them specifically. Yesterday it was hot. I was gardening. I
Yeah, well,
put
I have
leggings
to
on,
think
right?
about yoga pants, and it's like I'm trying to break it back. And I used to would have never worn them all the time. I love my yoga pants, but I've got into this rut with them because I
Yeah.
actually jeans are my favorite bottom
Oh,
to wear. I
I
love
am
jeans.
I'm a jeans girl. I
That's
am
it, but
such a
I've gotten
jeans
out of the
girl.
habit since COVID. I hardly ever wear them anymore.
Oh,
It's just weird to say, but you will find you probably have two or three different women living in your closet. You have the I feel frumpy and I don't care how I look set of clothes, which those are your clothes. In me, it's my oversized baggy sweatshirts and my sweatpants. During the winter, I have a sweatshirt that has a hole this big in the back, and I love this sweatshirt.
yeah.
Wouldn't dare wear it out of the house, but it's my comfort clothes. And then I have the
Yeah.
clothes I would wear if I looked the way I thought I wanted to. Like there, you know, when I went through this, it was like, well, if I looked better, if I was 10 pounds lighter, if I was this, I would wear, and I had bought these things and I loved them. Probably
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get into them anymore. And then
Yeah.
the things that just made me really feel good about myself. But then there's going to be most women have a closet full of clothes and there's stuff that they do not wear. And they're also not going to wear it. Get rid of it.
Yeah, see, and then what I would probably do is I would take that one step further to why do you love them? Like, what is it
What
about
is it
them do
about
you
it?
love,
Yes.
right? Because then we've got to get into the feeling of it and the
Yes.
stories that we've been told, right? Like, I've got a shirt that I will probably never ever, like, even if I was to lose 10 or 15 pounds, like I would like to, just because then I know I'll feel more comfortable in me, not because somebody says I need to be a
Right.
certain size. I'll still never be able to wear it,
Right.
but I loved how I felt when I
Felt in
wear
it.
it. And so I think for me, and what I would work on with other women too, is can we get that feeling either A, out of other items that we've got in our closet, or
Yes.
B, could we find something similar if we were to go looking for it? You know, like
Right.
if we were to search online, could we find something similar that would evoke that same feeling, but
Yes.
isn't
It's a
that shirt?
feeling you're looking for. It's
Because
really not the thing. It's never the thing. It's the feeling you get from the thing.
right. And so by holding on to it, and I know this, I live it, I work it, this is what I work on. So I should, um, I should really be going through my closet and doing my own work. I do from time to
And
time
you
every
have to do it
season.
more than once. You
Yeah,
have to
every
do it
season I go through
iteration
and
after iteration. Yeah.
yeah, well, and every season I do tend to. Did I wear it this season? No. Why not? Okay, it goes. But for some reason, I keep holding on. I've been holding on to this shirt. I've probably had it for 20 years, if not 25. And I still hold on to it because I love it so much. But when I look at it, I still remember how I felt, but then I
That's
kind
it.
of feel crappy because I can't wear it now. So why am I holding on to it? I need to actually clear that
Yeah. And every
space.
time you see it, you feel bad because you want to wear it, but you know it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
then you're just making yourself feel bad. At least take it out of your closet and box a couple of things up.
Yeah.
Put them in the closet for 6 months and see if you even think about it again once you box it up. You may find that you don't even think about it. And then
Yeah.
you've opened up a space in the universe to bring in more stuff,
For
which
something
comes
else
to the,
that I
going
will.
thrifting. You don't have to spend a fortune to look fabulous. You don't.
No, no, and we have some pretty amazing thrift shops here.
We do
One
too.
actually
Yeah.
lists their consignment source, so
Mhm.
people can take them in, and some of them actually even list like this is how much it is now, this is how much it'll be in a month, this is how much it'll be
Yes.
in 2 months. And I did find a few pieces that I may go back and see if I can see if they're the right size because they were
Yeah.
quite cute. Um, but yeah, and that's the thing is we sort of veered off of rules, but it's more about does the rule work for you? Cool.
Yes.
Go nuts. Run with it. Does it not feel good for you? Throw it aside and make your
Yeah.
own, you
And
know?
again, is don't get into the comparison because that's usually where we keep falling into the line of the rules is we're comparing ourselves to someone else. even the Instagram models, which the Instagram models don't even look like the Instagram models. And
No, probably
we
not.
know
Yes.
this. We
Yeah.
know it. We know that they're all using the filters and the different editing software. We know this. And we still get upset because we don't look like that when even they don't look like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I would love to know for anyone watching this, one, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, all the good things, because we are really trying to get to 50 so that we can start going live and having more interactive conversations with you lovely ladies. But what is a rule that you have either grown up with or sort of taken on over the years, whether that's parents, friends, family, whatever, and you're going to toss aside? Or what is a rule that you really like, you
Yeah.
know, that works for you? I would be
Yes.
curious. For me, it's more about the rules that I can toss aside. There
Right.
aren't a whole lot that I actually go, you know what, that one works for me. I'm curious to know if there are any rules that you have grown up with that actually you adhere to, that
Yes.
you like, that it works for you. Um, because I'm just curious,
Yeah. And also,
honestly.
but ask yourself, is like, if there's, is there something you want to do, but you don't feel like you can
Yes.
because there's some
Uh,
rule that says you can't. And
yes.
then so you can just really look at it and say, because there's probably things you could do today that could change everything. One small change can start the shift for everything to change. See what's holding you back from being who you want to be, saying
Yeah.
what you want to say, wearing what you want to wear.
Yeah.
It's just identifying these things and then we can just pivot. It's not like you're
Mm-hmm.
who you are, like I said, where you're just pivoting back to who you always were before it got
Yes.
conditioned out of you that you couldn't be.
And on top of that, like, um,
Or maybe
what
you
kind of
changed. You
advice
got
would you like?
older. Yeah,
Oh
your
yeah.
tastes have changed in everything now. And
Oh
so
God, yes.
you just want to reevaluate everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're, and if from any of that you would, like if there's any advice that you would like with regards to shifting that, we're happy to, come in and have that conversation.
Yeah.
And, like what, and even if there's no rule that you want to throw out the window or no rule that you want to question or any of that stuff, just what are some rules that you grew up with?
Yeah.
Maybe, like there's probably others out here that can sympathize with you because over time we've probably all grown up with some version of that.
Yes.
And let's, like help each
Yeah. And
other
leave it in the
smash through
comments
them.
because we can come back in and either answer it in the comments or maybe we'll make a video about it.
Yes, yes, yeah, if there's any, or even make a comment if there's anything that you would like to come on and talk about. We are happy to interview and have a multi conversation unless we can get 50 subscribers, and then we'll go live and do it.
Yes. Yes.
All
Absolutely.
right. Well, I think I feel kind of complete in my ranting.
You got that off your chest?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So no, just anything you have feedback, we're open to any kind of feedback, something you want to see, something you don't want to see. Just let us know because we're creating this
Yeah.
whole community for women over 40. We've got our YouTube channel, we've got our membership on school, which currently is at this ridiculous price of $10 a month for the first 10 women that get in.
Founding member price.
And then as you move up and if you want to get a complete makeover inside and out, we have our VIP day. So we have created a holy woman experience. It's a whole world where no matter where you're starting at, there is a place for you to get in and become the woman you were always meant to be.
Yes.
Your
And
midlife
any topics
can
you would
be
like us to
your
talk
best
about,
life.
and any topics you feel are relevant to you that you would like to discuss or have us discuss, get our take on it, down in the comments. We'll make a video
Absolutely.
about it.
All right,
All
well, that'll
right.
close us out for today, and we will see you all next time.